Hi, this is a viewer request, celebrity reading about Pete Davidson. It's the second one I'm doing. I guess she wanted an update, so I'll just tune into his energy, tell you what I see. It's kind of the imagery I'm getting is kind of like his relationships, like romantic ones, are kind of like fish scales. Like sometimes they layer on top of each other and like they move in unison. So I don't know if like that could mean like he has multiple alliances. Some might know about each other and be okay with that because they feel like they're part of his life, like they're the fish scales, so like they're, protecting him to some degree. And they're kind of moving in unison to like be available. They get like a monetary reward, kind of, like dinners and trips or whatever, that kind of, like they're not going Dutch on dates and stuff. Like they're, it's that kind of thing. And each of the scales is like shiny and strong, kind of, but because they're scales, they're like smaller, so he's spending like less time with each person. I feel like he feels like he's moving through the world, if we're gonna stay with this fish theme. And people can like cling to him and or not, but he's still going somewhere. Like I feel like because he's dealt with separation of a loved one, like it's easier for him to let go of people in his life, whereas some people just like cling forever. I feel like, does he own a brewery, or like not a brewery, like a bar or something like that? If he doesn't own a bar, he may own like a mid-size bar in like between Chelsea and Midtown on the east side. And I get these images of like big frothy beer mugs. I don't know if he likes beer, but it's sort of like more like 70s style, because like I know, like I grew up when I was much younger, like in Ontario, there's a town, like a twin city called Kitchener-Waterloo, that had a lot of German people settled there, and they had like a really raging Oktoberfest. They probably still do. And like just that image of just like those big beer glasses with foamy spilling tops and stuff, just I'm getting that kind of thing. Like it's a rowdy bar, and there might be some people performing there, but like people mostly come there for this beer and to just be like just going off, having too much beer in a beer friendly, beer positive like atmosphere. Because like I guess his part of his persona could be just like like have fun, All right. So if he doesn't have that already, like he may, or it's in the works or something. If it's showing up. I feel like one of his sort of side chick or girlfriend, small G girlfriends, has like wants to make a fashion business, or like he might end up being like financially supporting some like boutique of stuff that she makes in Manhattan. Either as like a, you know, angel investor, or like, you know, not, it's not talked about, it's the credits given to her kind of thing. I feel like he also likes like kind of MILF. I mean, even though he's getting on in his age, like I think he likes mature women, and he likes younger women, but like he doesn't bond as much with the younger women. He likes them and they're fun and they're pretty, like they're prettier, you know, but like it takes 3 to 10 younger girls to make like the kind of gravitas, like the you know, substance that one mature woman can give him. But it's like a lot of the women that he likes are married or too strong to say yes to him, given his ways, you know. So I feel like there's sort of, if you could say his personality is a bit shattered into 3 elements. There's the deep Pete. There's the shallow, funny Pete. And there's the like, I'm on my business Pete. So he may be a confusing character for people to like sort of unpack and be like, well, who are, you know, will the real Pete Davidson please stand up? And like someone who is familiar with, you know, tragedy or like, you know, like coping with tragedy and how like the personality could get splintered. This isn't the best lighting for me. Like, okay, I look 75, but anyway, if I turn the camera up, I would lose 20 years there. Anyway, so whatever. It's a psychic reading. So like only a person who is like kind of deep and like less of a gold digger, like if the result that you want is like his peace and happiness, you'll take the time to like learn, well, who is this guy and like how does he work and how can we make this work given this, that, and the other. Whereas some people just want something out of the box, and so like the out of the box people are gonna get like silly Pete, who's more shallow, and he can do that. But like bottom line Pete is gonna be like checking silly Pete, going like, she's not a forever person. And then deep Pete is like, I need more, you know, so there's like a conversation going on with him. And like the person or people that like really get that, who've been around the block a few times and gotten mugged and then made it home. Like people who've been through more emotionally can kind of just read him better and come to some sort of honesty and good relationship. I'm not talking about a marriage, but like to actually know who he is and like to really be his friend, like on all levels. I feel like he feels like he needs to be like 5 different people to like satisfy different communities. It's like the weird celebrity scene. There's like really like down to earth people from New York, like where he's from. You know, his like childhood friends, his, you know, the business elite. Like there's just like a, you know, like there's some kind of thing that comes up with that. Wait. it's like he's being shown a template, like, you could do this, you could live this way, you could live here, you could be with that person, but he's just like looking at the template from a bird's eye view, going like, yeah, I see that, you know, and he may try it like a roller coaster ride, but then he gets off the ride and he's like, I think I'll just be me. So he might like not really fit into like the typical, like, you know, like Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, or like, you know, Pete and Kim, or, you know, it's just like, that's not gonna work for him. He might be more like a kind of Mike Myers-ish person who like tried that, and then he married like someone he met who, I could be wrong, but I think he married like a waitress. And it's that type of thing where the person who really, like, he really connects with is someone like him, maybe, you know, similar background where he can vibe, like they have the same what's the word? Like my memory. Like principles, whatever that word is. They have the same like operation manual, you know. Because it's kind of like, it's cool to meet people who are super different than you, but like day-to-day living, pajama time, and like feeling safe while you're asleep. Like, like, what are they doing during the day? Like that kind of, like, he personally feels more comfortable dealing with someone he can read and predict really well, because like he doesn't really like the rug being pulled out. So if he senses that like someone might be thinking of that, he'll get out first. Kim, I feel like, is really strategic to the point where it's like ice cold. like really, like her mom really programs her kids to a degree, and maybe it's like, you know, when like familial love and like jobs, when they're intertwined, like it's like a prison of like, it's like a fairy dust prison, like where it's like, it's love, but it's like controlling. So it's, and she doesn't really know anything else. So other people, if she's carrying on the tradition, like him, her family tradition of being controlling, well, obviously some people aren't gonna like that because it's not healthy. So he would have like bugged out pretty fast. Like maybe she's cute and charming and he enjoyed those aspects, but then when, you know, the vice grip gets tightened, it's like, you know, bye, you know, no, no, thank you, no. So that explains that whole thing. And he does like kids, and it's like nothing against her having kids or anything like that, like, but it's just her wanting to control him because that's all she knows how to do. Like that's her version of love, is like, you have to do this and whatever. I'm not gonna read Kim Kardashian right now. Let's go back to Pete. So there's something about like pastries. I'm like trying to see what it is. I don't know if he's dating someone who owns like a big shop, or I don't feel like it's a good relationship. in fact, like, if there's someone that he knows that's related in any way to, like, baking, like, I feel like they could be his undoing. I don't think that's a dietary recommendation because it's too strong, and he's fairly young and healthy, so I think it's like a person. It could be a man. It could be just people in his life. Okay, I'm just gonna like look for some recommendations for him, and then I'll close the video. I leave the comments off because like sometimes people write like stuff that's meant to like destroy or whatever, and it's like I don't want to be like the hostess to like that kind of vibe. So I mean, most of the time people have like real comments, but there's some people who are just out to like destroy, like maybe that's their vibe or whatever. So it's, I don't know. So that's why, but I do have an email, and you guys can, it's lauracrapo@gmail.com if you want to send a comment or request. I generally don't like to do repeat ones of people, but like I said yes to this one. Can also come up with like general topics too. It doesn't have to be celebrity, but celebrity readings are good because everybody knows them a bit, and it's like it has, you know, good advice maybe for everybody. Okay. Yeah, so I feel it would be good exercise for him to like choose somebody he likes enough. They don't have to be perfect. They're just like sweet, and he likes spending time with them. And he doesn't have to overthink it. He doesn't have to marry them, but he could just like date them for 2.5 to 3 years and just see how he likes being stable. Like, and not entertaining other people at the same time, just to see what it's like, see if it's for him. And that doesn't mean he has to choose that person at the end of the day, like, but it might just eliminate some of the noise around him so he can actually focus on what he cares about instead of just running around trying to please, like, you know, putting out little fires here and there all the time, like of how's she doing, or I haven't checked in with her, and like juggling energy. So just to carefully like set down all those balls that were in the air, and like just focus on one person, and not feel like, oh, like not to have FOMO about it. There's something like deeply painful to him about performing. There's some kind of like, it's like a type of insecurity that is so deep and dark. It's like, it's really like a feat that he can get up in the morning and go out and just do it anyway. So it's kind of like having a broken down truck that like has no engine and just like making it run like one way or the other, you know, whether you're putting on bicycle wheels and like pushing it down a gentle incline to get from A to B, like he's just gonna make it happen given what he has. It's like it's not like crippling anxiety, but it's like deep, deep, deep embedded, maybe impossible to get rid of, kind of dark thoughts, or like, you know, I'm not gonna say depression, because like he is able to get up and do stuff, but it's like if you think of marble, like Carrara marble or something, like there's the crystally whitish clear parts, and then there's the grayish veins. So it's sort of like that, like a very, it's part of what makes the marble beautiful, but it's like, it's there, you know. And it's like you can't take a magic eraser and like get rid of that. So yeah, I think if he just like goes through life just trying to calm himself and feel grounded in like you know how some people say like radical acceptance or whatever, like that kind of thing, like, and just to keep being creative. But I feel like he needs to bring his romantic life down a notch to like create stability. And just because he chooses like his favorite person right now to be like who he feels chill with, like he might have FOMO at first making that choice, and like his bros might, you know, say like no, because it's gonna ruin the like free plane rides to party in Ibiza or whatever they do, Miami, or I don't know. And so that's just his friends being selfish. They should all like get a life, you know. And he needs to, sorry, there's like noises outside. Yeah, if he doesn't just like choose a like 3-year girlfriend soon, he's just gonna kind of like spiral into some kind of darkness that he maybe can't climb out of. Like it might be like career destroying, because everyone's gonna think he's too like flaky. So yeah, I don't know, this is a weird like, he needs to put on his man hat, whatever. So I wouldn't really say that, but that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, and he can like rent out his party space or his party pad or whatever to someone for, you know, a king's ransom for a time, and maybe like his future son can like have that apartment later. Yeah, so it's creating something really stable and sweet and cozy, and maybe like living in a Manhattan like high-rise that has like no scary balcony. It feels like just those straight windows that, you know, floor-to-ceiling windows that don't necessarily open. A glass tower of something, that not at the very top, but like 1/3 of the way up. With some woman who is like just slightly younger than him. Not like a really young person. Okay. So that's there for him, and it would like create stability, and he'd get like really good roles that were dramatic moving forward in that direction, and it would be less like all over the place and random, and it'd be like a stable, proper way to go. He just has to like not, if he's the type of person who like asks his like close male friends like, what should I do, like that's where he's going wrong. Like it's between him and God, you know, him and his intuition. And basically, if you ask a person, well, they're gonna come up with like a great idea that involves their betterment, you know. So it's like, how do you want, you know, do you want everybody to like suck you dry of everything and your potential and the potential good life that you could have now that was a blessing to you? Or are you gonna throw it all away trying to please everybody? I get this like exclamation point kind of thing, like I'm just gonna look at that. I feel he shouldn't do anything like physically dangerous or try to like I know his dad was a fireman. I don't know if he ever like wants to be like that vibe of like someone who's brave and does something dangerous for the sake of others. Or if he's given a movie that involves like stunts, something like that, I feel like he shouldn't do it. It's a big warning. Like, don't just like be you. Like his father was his father, like different person, and there's no obligation to like man up in that way, but there's an obligation to man up in terms of stable relationships and stuff. All right, just gonna wrap it up. That weird like baking thing is kind of like coming back. Yeah, if there's any kind of person who has like a business idea involving like baking, or just say no and do your like brewery instead. Or like, you know how some people like brew their own beer like in the bar, or you know, I don't really drink beer, but in Montreal there's a couple places like that where there's vats and places to sit down. So like maybe it's like that. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, and I feel like there's like some really strong-willed women who are just going for him, and he needs to just say no. You know, sometimes the image of someone is like appealing, but the lesson they're teaching you is really harsh. And like, you know, I don't know, for me, like even if someone's like very attractive in terms of like what I like, I'm always like asking them some questions first, or like it's interesting what comes out of their mouth, or like what they ask, like what they want in their life. And it's like, if it's really not something I want, I'm just like, okay, shut it down. Like, no. Like, so I feel like he needs to be able to read their people's actions and not really look at them visually so much, in order to dodge some like very difficult time wasting, money wasting situations that would cause him pain. Because like, he needs to nurture those 3 different Pete Davidsons, and like the mature one isn't, and the bottom line guy isn't gonna like these people in the long run. Sorry, there's like somebody crying outside. All right, so that wraps up my reading of my second reading of Pete Davidson. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any like real comments, you can email them to me, as I said, at lauracrapo@gmail.com. I know like some people pronounce my last name differently, but that's how my family and I pronounce it. The minority. But anyway, I hope you have a good day. All right, bye.